So I think it's recording. It may have recorded everything that we've said to this point. I have no idea. Okay, so here we go. Talking about our final, which is coming up so quick. I can't believe that, time always goes so fast. All right, so each one of you have chosen different things to do, and of course, you've probably, you're sick to death of looking at this information, but I'll just go over it again. There's three options. One is the storybook, song, or skit. One was talking, doing just a little biography of someone who is an anti-bias advocate. And the third was 5 activities in lesson planning. And then there were some additional requirements. So let's go over the additional requirements first, because I think that will help everybody. And then we'll talk about specific questions. So for me, and I tried to give some activities that would be halfway fun to do or interesting for you, and you could choose from those choices that were available depending upon your own personality and preferences. But there's some things I need to be able to see from your demonstrated in whatever it is that you chose to do. So the content for me needs to be able to show me basically the 4 goals of anti-bias, and they are there. So an understanding of self-awareness, promoting self-awareness and family pride, helping promote the diversity in families that we work with, and assisting children to recognize unfairness and promote anti-bias, and encourage the development of skills for children to be able to advocate for each other and stand up against prejudice. So for the next part, demonstrate in content or writing implementation of the course. So this is something that people forget when they put things together. Is it's important to me for me to be able to see that you have used the information in the course well, and so it needs to show up somewhere that you have, that you're referring to some of the things that you've learned from the course. And that could be just a reflection, naming some of the things that you got out of the course, and or referring to some of the activities that you participated in. And then, of course, you want to make sure that you are referencing things that you've used for any of the sources that you've had. Okay, so let me go back up here a little bit. I'll stop sharing. Did we lose some people? Oh, everybody's still there. Okay, so one of the important things that I need to know from you is, oh, Cassie, are you cooking? Trying to burn yourself?
Yeah, I just burnt myself.
Okay, so what I need to know from you is, what burning questions do you have about your specific project that you're doing? So we'll take some turns if you want to, in questions that you have, so we can get clarification for you. Anybody?
So for option 3, so do you want the recording of that one of the activities, or just the thing that I did the activity with children?
I would love to see, whatever you can have, and if you do your activity and you can record it for me, that would be awesome. I'd love that. If that's not possible, then
What pictures were?
Pardon?
What pictures work?
Pictures would work.
With pictures of the activity?
Yes, pictures of the
Them
activity,
doing it?
materials, and I understand it's really important for children to stay anonymous sometimes, and even though the activities that you do aren't shared by me unless there's permission to do that, still confidentiality is really important. So you can sometimes just take pictures or record so that children's faces and most of their little bodies are not showing. Like you can just do close-ups of hands in the activity. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, that will work just fine. But it would be best if you can show something about that so that you can, that because it helps me. I can't be there with you, although I'd love to. And the more demonstration that you have for me of what you have done with the children, the better. Okay, and I know Cassie just disappeared from us, but I know she's doing a biography. Kim, do you have any questions? Oh, lesson planning. I want to know how you're meeting each of those. So, in each of your activities, just show me somehow, and without being too specific, how you are meeting each of the goals. Okay, or one of the activities can meet several goals. And then part of it is for you to be able to identify for me what those goals are that are being met. All right. Anybody else? Cassie, do you have any questions about yours? No, you're doing the biography.
Yeah, I'm doing that one. So, for example, the lady that I'm doing it on actually wrote the book for this class.
Uh-huh.
And so you were saying that we need to use like text information?
Yes, but you could do that in a separate paragraph that doesn't have anything to do with necessarily about Louise, but just a separate paragraph explaining information, or even in the body of the write-up if you can figure out how to do that somehow. But I actually had the great privilege of meeting Louise when I was in college, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, however you can put that together, all right? But I just...
Okay, because I started typing up like the goals of the education.
Anti-bias.
And then, yeah.
Well, just remember that when you're doing a biography, it has 3 parts. Every essay that you ever do in your life is going to have 3 parts. There's an introduction that tells what it is that you're talking about, then your body, and then your conclusion.
Right.
And for your bibliography, where you're getting your sourcing from, it doesn't have to be annotated, which means you don't have to, like write a small paragraph about your resource, but it needs to be clear what parts your information comes from. Okay, so however you can make that clear. Yvonne, how about you? Do you have any burning questions for me? Nothing so far?
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. Nothing so far. I'm not gonna lie, I'm running a little bit behind on my final, just with everything at work and kids going on. So maybe I'll have questions.
Okay. Well, we still have some time, so it's best to get started. If you haven't got an outline already, that's the best way to start. Start with an outline because you get what's in your head out on paper. Say, okay, I'm going to put this down first, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I guarantee you, even though some of you have similar topics, every single one of you is going to put something in there different. It's going to be completely different. Even you know, even if you came up with the same activity ideas, it would all be presented differently. So, you know, and that's up to you, and it's unique and different about you, and that's part of what I enjoy. Kim, I didn't see what you just put a second ago. Oh, yeah, just I also have the newer version and the older version. I just happened to put the course together with the older version, but I do have the newer version. So yes, use whatever source you use. So if you use the newer version, put in the sourcing that's in that text, okay? So for the lesson planning, all right, did I answer those questions?
For lesson planning, can we do it with one kid or it has to be multiple?
I think it's going to be best to have more than one child. It's, you know, if you do it with one child and one-to-one, it has a different tone to it than if you do it with several children. So if you can find a few kids to sit together, that would work better.
Okay, because most of them, they're foster care.
Uh-huh.
So we're not allowed to take pictures or videos of them.
Right, I understand that. And that's okay. Although you can take pictures, and we've talked about this before, you can take pictures of the actual things in the activity.
Okay.
You know, if you have a table set up and you have people manipulating things on the table, you can take a picture of what's on the table with people's hands in it and not get kids and not get anybody. And it does take a little bit of practice. So, you know, you can practice with that.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? So, and as you know, some of you have been posting real regularly on your project, and I really appreciate that. And it helps me to kind of see the progress that you're making. And I have to say, I'm really excited about some of the project ideas that you're coming up with. And I'll be real excited to see your finished product. And just remember that when I look at what you do, I'm looking for your critical thinking, your creativity. And so it's not just like, you know, it would be so easy for me to come up with a test for you and just have a whole bunch of questions that you could choose from to answer. And, you know, say, you know, that being said, there could be just like one answer. But using it this way, hopefully there's multiple answers to the question, and each of you can come up with those multiple answers in whatever way you want to. So as you put them together, don't be afraid to show your individualizing, your own personality, and the way, and show me the way that you think critically. Because I think we're so used to expecting something. This is a right answer, and I need to have that right answer. And if I don't, then I feel like I'm missing the point, or I'm lost. There are some expected things, definitely, but the way that they're put together, the way that they're expressed, is totally up to you. Okay, Any other questions? Okay, well, at least half of the class knows what they're doing. So, so good for you. Woohoo! All right, so if you don't have any questions, and I'm sure that you'll come up with some at some point, then we'll probably say goodnight for the evening, and then, you know, open the door for you to contact me. Please, I have to ask you that, you know, sometimes it gets a little bit, my days get a little bit long, and if you have a question, please be patient and wait till I get there the next day to answer them, okay? Especially since I got sick when I was camping and I still don't feel good. So, anyway, that being said, thank you so much, everybody, for all the hard work that you do. And don't slow down. Sometimes when we get towards the end of our goal, we have a tendency to run for the finish line. And sometimes what that does is it puts us in panic
I'm just
mode,
recording a
or
recording.
in a hurry mode, and we don't really do a very good job. And that's not necessarily true for you guys, but it can happen. So take your time. Don't rush. You've got time to finish. Think it out. Do your best work. And I guess that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for showing
you.
up.